Hi everybody, this is Boogess Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse GameStop exclusive Frostbite Edition Deathstroke figure. So before we take a look at Deathstroke, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with this base. It's cast in this translucent blue color with the white DC logo on it. And I really wish they would have made it so the peg was over here a little bit. He's off center on this base, and that kind of drives me nuts. It's not really like I'm going to be using this on him anyways. Up next, he comes with his card and card stand, and I love this card stand. It's cast in translucent blue and has this frosted paint over top of it. That looks very nice. And on the back here, you can see that I got number 3,819 of 5,000. Up next, he comes with his knife. You can store the knife very nicely in the sheath down here on his left leg. That looks pretty cool. And finally, he comes with his sword. And this looks fantastic. That frosted paint really brings out the detailing on the sword very nicely, especially on the blade. That looks fantastic. And you can also store the sword on his back right there. It actually stays in there very well. You can turn it upside down and it won't fall out. It's a very snug fit, so that's awesome. I didn't actually realize that he had any storage back here. So now let's go ahead and take a look at his head sculpt. So taking a look at this head sculpt, I think McFarlane Toys did a good job at sculpting this. I feel like the paint could have been a little bit better on this head sculpt though. Like the paint really shines on the rest of the body. The sculpt work is really brought out by the paint, but I feel like it could have been done just a little bit better on the head sculpt. That dry brushing doesn't quite bring the details out as nicely as on the rest of the figure. I especially wish that there would have been some solid white paint here for the left eye, since this is just smooth right here. I think that would have looked really cool to have some solid white paint right there on the eye. I think that would have looked really cool. So taking a look at the rest of the figure, the paintwork really shines. It brings out all of the different textures and sculpted lines very nicely. I'm pleasantly surprised with how the paint came out on this. Just like with the accessories, it's cast in that translucent blue color and has that paint over top of it, that dry brushing. And man, that works really well. I love how that looks. You do see that it's missing a little bit down here where the bicep moves, but that's a small complaint because it looks fantastic everywhere else. The one weird thing is the elbows and wrist joints up here are cast in a different plastic. You can see that it's not translucent, it's like a solid blue color. I'm assuming it's because translucent plastic joints break easily, so that's probably why they cast in a different material, but it is really noticeable. It's not quite as noticeable on the wrists right here because the hands pretty much go up to the cuffs right here. But yeah, the knee joints also do the same thing, and these knee joints are very, very noticeable. I'm still blown away by all of the textures on this figure. That dry brushing really brings those textures out very nicely. Man, that looks very awesome. Even his belt has some texturing to it. It has some leather texture to it. That looks really good. And is this supposed to be a knife in a sheath? Because it kind of looks funny. There's no handle right there. Maybe I guess it's just an empty sheath. But yeah, that kind of looks funny. You can see all the intricate sculpt details there on this pouch here on his back. Is it just me or are his cheeks uneven? This left side looks like it's sagging a little bit. That's a weird thing to say, but it does look a little bit uneven to me. Whenever you move his legs forward, you can see that there's no dry brushing right here at all. You can see just the base color that the figure is cast in. You're really not going to see it for the most part because of the way it's sculpted. But yeah, it would have been nice if they would have continued that dry brushing up here. Just like with the wrists, elbows, and knee joints, the ankles are also cast in that solid blue color, and they're pretty noticeable. But yeah, other than that, this figure looks really good. This is my first time having this mold. I could never find that original Deathstroke, so I'm pleasantly surprised with this. I do wish that back here, these ties would have been a little bit longer. I think that would have looked good if they were just a little bit longer, because if you have them down like that, you can barely see that the figure has them. I did forget to mention that when I was going over the head sculpt. So now let's go ahead and go over his articulation. He has a ball-jointed head that can look up all the way. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side and all the way around just a little bit. He has ball-jointed shoulders. The left side moves out very nicely. The right is really stiff. The right side doesn't want to move out as nicely as the left side. Spins all the way around very nicely. He has a swivel at the bicep, double jointed elbows that can bend all the way in. The ball jointed wrists, you can hear how crunchy they are. They just move up and down very slightly. They do move all the way around very nicely, but man, that up and down movement is just a little bit hindered because of how crunchy it is. He can crunch forward a nice bit. I wish he could have crunched forward just a little more, but this is an older body mold, so it's not as improved as the newer McFarlane figures. He can crunch back all the way. Up here at the diaphragm joint, he can move side to side, though it's a little crunchy. Down here at the waist, it's very nice. Can move all the way around. He has hips that can do a complete split. He can kick forward that far. He can kick back all the way. He has a very nice thigh swivel. Double jointed knees that can move back that far. Ankles that can move down all the way, up all the way, spin all the way around, and toe articulation that can move up all the way. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to the Fidgetal Batman figure. I missed out on the Frostbite Batman, but I'm pretty sure this is the mold that it used. Of course, it was just this mold cast in the same type of plastic with that dry brushing over top of it. Here he is next to the Mr. Freeze Platinum figure, and I think he should get the Frostbite treatment next. I do think we have too many Mr. Freeze figures as is, but I feel like Mr. Freeze is an obvious choice for a new Frostbite figure. That and Bane. I think Bane would look incredible with this Frostbite deco. And finally, here he is next to his video game version. So overall, I would highly recommend picking this up because McFarlane Toys did a really good job on this. This is just a remold and reuse of the Rebirth Deathstroke figure, but I think it looks really cool. Anyone that knows me knows I love translucent figures, and this just looks really good. And the paint really brings out those sculpted details and textures. That looks really good. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised with this figure. It is very awesome. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.